Page 53, Westminster Chimes. On page 52, we're starting a new unit, Unit 5, and they're talking about triad inversion. So I think we've already talked about them some. You have a triad, a 3-note chord. Let's just use our good old C chord. And I can rearrange the notes. If I put the C on top, I have inverted it. I've turned it over. I've rearranged it. That's first inversion because we're going up here. First inversion, if I do it again. Second inversion, do it again. Root, it's root. It's not zero inversion, it's root. We do that with any chord. Okay. Well, first inversion is simply where you've taken the bottom and you put it on top. So the root of the chord is actually on the top. So it's here. And in Westminster Chimes, these are all first inversions because you can tell because in a root position, the notes are every other note. Well, in inversion, they're not. In first inversion, there's more distance between the top two notes. And you can see that in the music when you see there's more distance between the top two notes. That tells you it's first inversion. As far as how important that is, as far as I'm concerned, not important at all. But it's nice to know what first inversion is. And it's nice to be able to play in them. And in Westminster Chimes, all of these are first inversions. We simply put the root note on top. Happens to be the melody. As far as you got to play 3 notes at a time and you're constantly moving around. So you're aiming like, oh my God, I got to get all these fingers right, and every time, and the fingers, and all 3 fingers, each one. No. Do it that way if you want to. I don't recommend it. I aim one finger. If I keep my hand in that position, I let the other fingers just do whatever. It takes a little practice. And it's important to flex the wrist when you do this because otherwise you'll get tense because you want to hold your hand in that position. You'll tense up because you don't want to move it. Well, no, we don't want tension. So if you'll flex the wrist as you play each of these chords, that helps to fight that tension. So it's here, and I'm going to leave my hand in this position. I'm going to aim the little finger because it's the melody. I usually aim the melody note, although it's good practice to aim each note, each finger, because sometimes you want to use the whatever finger as your guide and let the other fingers go along. If there's a melody, here's the top one. I usually use the melody because that's what I'm focused on. So I'm on the little finger. I'm going to just aim that. And that, when I get that, now I put my hand in that position and I just let I'm lowering, just letting weight and push it down. And I'm not aiming 3 fingers, I'm aiming 1 finger. I'm just keeping my hand, and it takes a little practice, but you'll get it. Important thing is stay relaxed when you do this. For kicks and giggles, try aiming the thumb. Aim the middle finger, because you just need to be able to do any of them. And put them together. It's just good practice to be able to do it with any finger. You should do it in both hands, because you got to be able to do it with either hand. But for this purpose, in this video, I'm going to aim the little finger, because that's the melody. And that's what I'm recommending you do here, is get into the practice of just keeping your hand in that position. It works as long as the shape of the chord is the same all the time. When it starts moving around, then we got to make adjustments. But we can do that. Well, we're adjustable, really. Then in the last line where you hear, it's no big deal. Last 2 measures, you're simply going up on white keys. But if you'll just keep your hand in that position, using the wrist, I'm actually flexing at the wrist of each of these. I'm only focusing on the little finger though. And that's doing it for me. So that's the technique for these chords. And it doesn't matter if it's first inversion, second inversion, or root, or whatever. Anytime the pattern is the same, then this is the technique that I use for doing it. Now 3/4 time, C major, no sharps or flats in it. We've already covered the first hand pretty much, except maybe the counting on the last line, measure 9, 1 and 2 and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2. So forth. That's the count, big deal. Left hand, C chord, and then an octave, and then another octave. Let's come up. Do that some more. Last line, measure 9, you're here, and then down to the G chord, and then a C chord down below. And that's tied for 2 measures. You're going to hang on to it. Put the hands together slowly. You're here, and you go yours slowly, not mine, but the left hand comes up during the rest. So forth. Last line, measure 9, it's here. 1 and 2. Like so. That's the rhythm and the counting and all that. And then we add the articulation. Well, not a lot on articulation except the accents in the first line. Just play them a little extra oomph. Separate them. I know the pedal's going to cover it up, but do the technique for it. Separate them. You have to separate them because they're chords. Well, that's handy. That's really about the only articulation. There's a retardando at the end where you slow down. Doesn't say how much to slow down. Slow down. Dynamics, it's loud. And we want to hear the right hand. So left hand could be sort of a moderately loud to a moderately soft in there. So it's the right hand we want to hear. That's the second line, now you're soft. It's like an echo. Left hand has to be very soft. Technique is the same, you're just soft. Then the last line, measure 9, is soft for a measure. A little louder, not much. Still the same, moderately soft, and you're going to go up to loud. Don't get loud until that last note. So start it soft. There. And slow down. Okay. And now to make chimes out of it, we got to have the pedal to smear it all up, because that's what chimes do. The bells, just everything, they're going like crazy. It's going to be a legato pedal. I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal, and each time I change the pedal, it's after I play the note, and then I change the pedal. So at the beginning it's this way. And at the end, the pedal and the hands all come up together, something like that. Speed-wise, you probably heard this piece, and it's, think about big bells in a clock tower somewhere doing their thing, and that's about, it's not really fast, it's kind of on the slow side. I like to play it with you very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I don't know that we need to, but I will. I'll give us 3 counts. Let's go over it carefully. 1, ready, go. Two, three, off.